Alright, in our main event tonight, the Legends TV Tag Championships on the line as Sergeant Slaughter and the Patriot defend the titles from Dr. D. David Schultz and Dr. Death Steve Williams, the Doctors. Schultz and Williams, the Doctors, with an appetite to regain the Legends Television Tag Team titles away from Sergeant Slaughter and the Patriot, who relieved Jerry the King Lawler and Harley Race of the titles several months ago.
It's taken them a while to get back there, but they finally made it to #1 contendership, and they can't wait to get in there with the Sarge and the Patriot. Can they win? I think they could. I mean, they was former champions before, so why not? But Sarge and the Patriot haven't let go of those titles since they got them.
If anyone could pull it off, it would be former Legends TV Tag Champions. I'm favoring Sarge and the Patriot, but wouldn't be surprised to see Schultz and Williams pull off a small miracle.
And here are the current reigning Legends Television Tag Team Champions Sergeant Slaughter and the Patriot, and they have definitely been very stalwart as far as hanging on to those titles go. They rematched with Lawler and Harley Race and retained. Now they're going to have to face Schultz and Williams and try and do the same thing.
This one's going to be very tight, Don. Both of these teams are very, very in sync. They work very well together. They're both very efficient. It's going to be a hard call. I mean, I don't want to see an upset. I'd love to see the Sarge and the Patriot hang on to the belts. But Schultz and Williams, it's still a possibility.
Tonight's Rage main event is scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit, and it is for the RWL Legends Television Tag Championships. The challengers, at a combined weight of 535 pounds, Dr. D. David Schultz and Dr. Death Steve Williams, the Doctors. Their opponents, at a combined weight of 540 pounds, the RWL Legends Television Tag Team Champions, Sergeant Slaughter and the Patriot.
In this main event tag team title match, it looks like it's going to be Dr. D. David Schultz and Sergeant Slaughter starting this one off. As referee Anthony Corallo rings the bell, here we go. Sergeant Slaughter swings and misses. Grapples Schultz. Gets a hold of him. Bending the arm. Schultz counters with a shot. Sarge. Whip to the far right corner. Sarge counters with double boots to the face of Schultz. Takes him quickly down to the canvas. Sergeant Slaughter stepping out and turning it over to the Patriot. The Patriot moves in on Schultz. Gathers him up. Wands up the arm. Schultz counters with a forearm. Both men miss their grapples. The Patriot catches a kick to the midsection and a running clothesline from Dr. D. David Schultz. Schultz steps out and here comes Dr. Death Steve Williams. The Patriot right there waiting for him. Whips him to the ropes. Williams puts on the brakes, delivers a clothesline to the Patriot. The Patriot counters with a kick. And the Patriot wands up the arm. But Schultz right there to break up a possible submission. The Patriot reaches out for Schultz but changes his mind, goes back after Dr. Death. Steve Williams counters with a shot to the midsection and a standing dropkick, dropping the Patriot to the mat. Followed up with a stomp to the arm. Dr. Death Steve Williams rebounds off the ropes. Running splash right across the torso of the Patriot. Here comes Dr. D. David Schultz again. The Patriot laid out from that last splash from Steve Williams. The Patriot quickly sweeps the leg on Schultz and beats it out of town, turning it back over to the Sarge. Sergeant Slaughter moves in. Schultz collides with him. Sarge drives a knee into the midsection of David Schultz. And he certainly felt that one. The Patriot comes in on a tag. The Patriot with a shoulder tackle to Schultz. Dr. D back up on his feet. The Patriot goes back to work on the same arm. And here comes Steve Williams. But Dr. D, David Schultz, breaks it up himself. Schultz with a clubbing overhand right to the Patriot. Misses with the stomp. The Patriot back up on his feet. Misses with the running knee. A shot right to the face of the Patriot from Schultz. Schultz takes himself to the top turnbuckle. The Patriot on the outside. The double X handle connects. Followed up with a stomp as the referee begins the count. David Schultz winds up both arms and snaps the switch. Driving pain through both arms of the Patriot. The Patriot driven into the barricade. Schultz drives him in a second time. And Dr. D. David Schultz starts to pull away here as the referee continues to count. Again, this main event is for the Legends TV Tag Titles. The Patriot rolled back inside the ring by Schultz. Dr. D stops to try and get a little love from the fans as Sergeant Slaughter is brought in on the tag by the Patriot. Sarge with a kitchen sink knee to the gut of Dr. D. David Schultz. Sarge gouges the face of Schultz, goes behind, tags him with a right, whips him to the corner. Sergeant Slaughter with a chop across the chest of Schultz. Gets a hold of him and starts driving his head into the turnbuckle over and over again. For a count of 10, down goes Schultz as the Sarge quickly rolls him over and goes for the cover one, but barely just a one. Schultz tries to beat it out of time, but the Sarge right there to stop him. A stomp to the lower abdomen for Schultz. Here comes the Patriot again. Schultz still laid out center ring. Dr. D. David Schultz counters with a kick, takes the Patriot down to the mat, and beats it promptly out of town and turns it over to Dr. Death Steve Williams. Steve Williams catches a kitchen sink knee to the gut from the Patriot. A stomp to the face of Dr. Death. The Patriot with an elbow right to the top of the skull. And Dr. D. David Schultz looking on as Steve Williams takes a battering at the hands of the Patriot. And here comes the Sarge again. Sergeant Slaughter tags him with a shot. Gets a hold of Steve Williams. Escorts him towards the ropes. Sergeant Slaughter countered here. Williams misses with both moves, taken down by the Sarge. Wow, Sergeant Slaughter on fire here. Here's a clubbing overhand right. A stomp to the back to Steve Williams. Williams counters, gets back up on his feet. Tries to make it to his corner. Gets a hold of the Sarge. Belly to back with a helicopter spin from Dr. Death Steve Williams. A slap to the head of the Sarge too. As Dr. D. David Schultz is brought in on the tag. Sergeant Slaughter grapples Schultz. Whips him to the ropes. Hip toss from the Sarge. Schultz tags the Sarge with a right. Locks him up. Whips him to the ropes. They collide with no result. They lock up again. Schultz escorts the Sarge towards the ropes. Tags him with a jab to the midsection. Takes him down to the mat. And look at this. Hung up on the top rope by the throat. Dr. D. David Schultz with a series of knuckles to the temple of the Sarge. The Doctors keenly determined to regain the Legends TV Tag Titles that they lost from the Two Kings months and months ago. Here's a stomp to the midsection of Sergeant Slaughter. Steve Williams delivers a few shots and turns it back over to Dr. D. David Schultz. Sarge in the corner, gets a knee driven into the chest by Schultz. Sarge quickly back into the corner a second time. Schultz gathers him up, clubbing double axe handle to the side of the head. The Sarge rolls out to the outside. Makes his way back in, gets a hold of Schultz, and drives his face right into the mat. Sarge goes behind. Schultz resisting as the Sarge tries to bring him to his team's corner, head first into the turnbuckle. Here comes the Patriot on the tag, and here comes a tag kick to the ribs from the Patriot. The Patriot rounds Schultz up. Oh, shoulder breaker. And Schultz is motionless. The Patriot pacing around here, debating what he wants to do, turns it back over to Sergeant Slaughter. Steve Williams looking on as Dr. D. David Schultz gets a heel hook stretch landed on him by the Sarge. Sergeant Slaughter steps out, tags in the Patriot. Schultz makes his way to the corner. Here comes Steve Williams on the tag. The Patriot misses with the shoulder tackle, delivers a kick to the midsection to Steve Williams. Instead, a couple of hard jabs and a drop kick, dropping Williams and sending him to the outside. Steve Williams rounded up over the shoulders by the Patriot and taken down to the canvas again. The Patriot rounds up Steve Williams, escorts him to his team's corner, head first into the turnbuckle goes Steve Williams. Here comes Sergeant Slaughter on the tag. Here comes another double team from the Legends TV Tag Champions. Williams draped over the top rope, a double axe handle across the back from the Sarge. Sergeant Slaughter drives the elbow into the chest of Dr. Death. Sergeant Slaughter with a hard right and a quick cover with a hook of the leg. One, but just a one. Steve Williams displaying some serious resilience here as the Patriot is brought in on the tag. The Patriot catches a hard shot from Steve Williams. Dr. Death with a clothesline deftly steps over, rounds up the Patriot by the wrist and delivers a second. Steps over a third time. And boom, there's a third clothesline. A trifecta as Steve Williams rebounds off the ropes. Misses with the running splash. The Patriot rolling out of the way just in time. Steve Williams catches another hard right from the Patriot. The Patriot rounds him up, spins him around with a hard right. Whoa. Trap squeeze, blocking the flow of blood to the brain of Dr. Death, and he is fading fast. And down he goes as the Patriot tags in Sergeant Slaughter. Steve Williams is laid out. Schultz just coming to his senses. And it's looking bad for the doctors right now. Sarge with a series of shots and a driving knee to the head of Steve Williams. Another rolling elbow across the back. A stomp to the midsection. Misses with another rolling elbow. Williams quickly back up here. Charges. Sarge rounds him up. Oh man, what a suplex. Dropping Williams on the back of his head. Sarge covers again. 1, 2, 3, and that is it. Sarge and the Patriot retain the Legends TV Tag Championships by pinfall.
The time was 9 minutes and 36 seconds. Your winners and still Legends TV Tag Champions, Sergeant Slaughter and the Patriot.
I'll tell you, it could have gone either way. It very easily, for a while, it could have definitely gone the way of Schultz and Williams. But once they lost the momentum to Sergeant Slaughter, that was it. It was all over. So there you have it. Sergeant the Patriot retaining the Legends TV Tag Championship.
For a while there, it was starting to not look too good for the reigning champs, with Schultz and Williams having been very aggressive. But as you said, Myron, once they lost the momentum, it was for good, and there was just no getting it back. Still and all, a solid win for the Legends TV Tag Champions.
Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that puts the cap on this week's edition of RWL Rage. As always, we thank all of you for being part of RWL Wrestling and for following the channel. Coming up, our next RWL telecast will be Saturday, September the 13th, when RWL Snarl returns with Wally Cardell, Johnny Bianco, and Hangman Tex Lynch. We'll be back the following Monday. We'll see you next time. For all of us here at RWL, this is Don Hickson saying thank you, good night, and see you then.